Plants that look like animals. 10 plants that behave like animals. We have long believed that plants are nothing more than stationary living organisms that helplessly observe the world around them and come what may they can't do about it because they are nothing more than silent solitary organisms. However, it turns out that we were all wrong. Despite the fact that plants lack eyes, ears, or brains, they are still able to locate their food and perceive their environment and respond accordingly. The top 10 plants that most closely resemble animals are shown below. Some of these even resemble humans more. 10. Dodder vine, plants that can smell. Ever heard of vampires and wondered if they really existed? Today, though, we're going to shock you even more because we're going to introduce you to a parasitic plant that can neither grow roots nor create food. It completely depends on a host plant, drawing all of its energy from it. Its minuscule probes, which resemble fangs, puncture the stems of other plants and suffocate them. But it is not what shocks us the most. Rather, what shocks us the most is that this plant can select one host plant over another and favors tomatoes over all others. According to research by Penn State University, this vine sniffs out its victims around it and finally makes a choice. How does it manage that with no eyes, ears, nose, not to mention brain, much like animals? Hey. Of course. 9. The sensitive, Mimosa putika. Although they don't react to contact as quickly as lightning, if anything, plants are far more prompt. The leaves remain rigid due to water pressure acting on the cell walls. When touched or pinched, the plant sags immediately. The plant is indigenous to Central and South America. Although the precise cause of its quick reaction to touch is not well understood, you wouldn't expect a plant to move as quickly as a mussel would you? 8. Desmodium gigans, dancing plant. The well-known dancing plant defies all accepted norms for plant behavior. Plants can respond to touch, light, and fire, but apparently not to music. Wrong. Charles Darwin himself was once excited and wrote to Sir Joseph Hooker in 1873, "Now I want to tell you, for my own delight, about the motions of the Desmodium gigans." This plant is thought to respond to sound, and it is sound that it is most sensitive to. 7. Venus flytrap. A clear catch, yes? We are all familiar with this savage, evil plant. The flytrap is a plant that behaves like an animal if any plant can. As an unwary insect approaches the open leaves of this native to Carolina plant, all it takes is a quick brush against the plant's hairs to close the trap and lock the insect inside. After being digested, the animal is added to the plant's food supply as a supplement. I see, digestion. A tree? You clearly read that. One of the most incredible carnivorous plants is it. 6. Spotted napweed, offensive plants. So, here comes a plant that can start wars? This plant poses a significant danger to rangelands. Napweed roots use a variety of chemicals to collect some nutrients from the soil, but these chemicals also have a horrible side effect. They appear to kill off a number of other plants, allowing the napweed to encroach even more on the soil or territory. A conduct that is quite reminiscent of an animal. 4. Pitcher plant. The pitcher plant is another carnivorous plant. The leaves have evolved into funnel shapes, with hood-like structures covering the openings. Simple nectar around the hole, along with the plant's color and aroma, draw insects into its simple trap. When the insect approaches, it walks on the slick aperture and tumbles within, where it eventually perishes and is digested. 3. Nepenthes. These plants are more commonly referred to as monkey cups, since monkeys have been seen occasionally sipping rainwater from them. Although larger varieties of these plants, such the Nepenthes rafflesiana, also capture rats, they are carnivorous and trap insects as well. As it has already been proven that these plants resemble cups, the syrup and liquids inside the cups are employed to drown and devour any animals that accidentally fall inside. The next time you assume that rats were only traditionally pursued by humans, reconsider. 2. Animal-like plants, Drosera. Around 200 species of this carnivorous plant, sometimes known as the sundews, exist. This plant's distinctive characteristics are its movable tentacles, which secrete sweet and gooey substances resembling honey. Once the insect has settled on the secretions for a meal, it becomes imprisoned, and the plant uses some very amazing reinforcements in the form of additional tentacles to further capture it. Then, the plant is broken down and absorbed. Digestion seems to be a rather widespread concept in the plant kingdom. 1. Acacia trees of South Africa. Scientists discovered more about plant intelligence through an occurrence that occurred in the South African Limpopo savanna, which we shall summarize. Cutis, which fed on the sole green, supposedly life-saving acacia trees, started to ruthlessly perish in great numbers during a protracted drought. According to post-mortem investigations, the trees deliberately discharged a poison to kill these cutis as a self-defense measure to lessen the number of cutis that were preying on them. Professor Van Hoven's laborious research revealed that the acacia noticed an increasing number of cutis chopping off the leaves and boosted the content of a chemical called tannin to cause the cutis deaths in order to avoid future leaf chopping. Even stranger, the acacia chemically coordinated with the nearby trees to boost their tannin content as well in order to shield the entire family. Amazing. Who would prevail if IQ could be gauged by survival? What behavior is this, if not that of a human or a plant?